is good with the fight fans, man? It's Kijana back with some fight predictions. UFC Fight Night 180. Ortega versus Korean Zombie. It is going to be a fucking banger. Just know that. It's going to be a banger. These two dudes don't like each other. Ortega slapped his homie back a few months back just for running his mouth. It's a Cali thing. It's just a Cali thing, man. But yeah, anyways, you already know who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with Ortega. But this isn't gonna be my main card predictions. This is gonna be my prelim predictions, and then I'll drop my main card video for you guys. But the first fight, man, Said Nurmagomedov versus Mark Striegel. Both these fighters are pretty decent. Mark Striegel, 18-2 record, 14 sub wins, 2 sub losses. Had a no contest in his last fight. Went on a 4-fight win streak before that. Has 9 rear naked choke wins, which is a shitload. So that seems like it's his go-to. 1 armbar win, 1 guillotine choke win, 3 scarf arm lock chokes. Very dangerous submission game. Super versatile. Hasn't fought since April 2019, which is a while. Only fights about once or twice a year. Nice flicking jabs, fast left crosses, decent leg kicks. I mean, he's a pretty well-rounded fighter, but he does make a lot of mistakes in the grappling department. On the ground and his transitions. He keeps his chin out there up in the air. Low hands as well. I don't really like that. Nurmagomedov, 13-2 record, 3 KO wins, 3 sub wins, 2 decision losses. He's 2-1 in the UFC. His only losses to Raoni Barcelos. He beat, one of his most notable wins was he beat Ricardo Ramos with a liver shot, body kick. Very nice performance for him to get that over Ramos, because Ramos is actually a pretty decent striker. Even though I don't like that stupid ass fucking soccer kick shit that he tries to do in the ring, that's never gonna work. That's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna leave him open for a fucking counter, for him to get knocked the fuck out. But yeah, this guy, Said, kind of has a similar style to Zabit, but nowhere near his level. But he is unorthodox, and he's got really good movement. His wrestling's really good. His top pressure is his heavy top pressure. So if he gets on top of you, dude, good luck trying to get up. I'm rocking with Said Nurmagomedov on this one all the way. I think he'll get a finish, honestly, in this one. So yeah, I'm rocking with him. Gadzimurad Antigulov versus Maxim Grishin. I don't even know if that's how you say his name, but I'm gonna rock with it. 20-7 record, 4 KO wins, 15 sub wins, 4 KO losses, 3 sub losses. On a 3-fight losing streak to Ian Kutiladze, Michael Olechek, and Paul Craig. 2 KO first-round finishes and 1 sub-loss to Paul Craig. He's 2-3 in the UFC. That 0-3, or that 3-fight losing streak is not good. He's going to be losing his job pretty soon if he loses any more. I don't know. The UFC kind of gives people a lot of chances nowadays, so I wouldn't be surprised if he loses this one in a crazy fashion if he gets one more shot. But yeah, man, this guy, he tends to just rush in there. He starts very fucking fast. He doesn't have the greatest cardio, which is probably why he starts fast. There's no feeling out process for this dude. Throws combos, sets it up for a double leg, decent takedowns. He has 4 rear naked choke wins, 4 guillotine choke wins, 4 armbar wins, 1 knee bar, 1 anaconda choke. He has the whole arsenal on the ground. He can submit you in so many different ways. So yeah, man, he's dangerous on the ground. He's pretty dangerous on his feet. He's heavy-handed, but at the same time, he keeps his hands low. He just rushes in there and keeps his chin out there. He got dropped 3 times by Olechek, which is not good because it was weird. He got dropped once, kept rushing, just bull rushing fucking Olechek, thinking that he was just going to dominate him or something. Got dropped again with a counter left or a counter right. And then he got dropped a 3rd time and just did not get up. So, yeah, I mean, your chin can only take so much damage. It's rattling your fucking brain in there. Antigulov, he does not have the best fight IQ. I'm rocking with Grishin on this one. I think he'll get the job done. But maybe Antigulov will fight harder. I'm pretty sure he's from he's from Dagestan. He's probably gonna want to get a fucking win. They're all probably gonna dedicate it to Khabib's father. That's my guess. So he might fight really hard in this fight. I don't really know, man. I'm gonna roll with Grishin just for the simple fact that he has a 7.5-inch reach advantage. He's 30-8 record, 15 KO wins, 6 sub wins, 3 KO losses, and 3 sub losses. His last fight was to his last loss was to Marcin Tybura in the UFC on his debut. So he mixes it up pretty well. He has nice leg kicks, really good right crosses. And he knows how to he really knows how to use his range. So I feel like he'll be able to use his range and counter strike this guy. And he's gonna have better cardio than Antigulov if it goes past the first round. But 36 years old, man. He's only had one fight in the UFC. That doesn't look the greatest. He's kind of getting a late start. But I am going to roll with Grisham on this one. I feel like he can get the win. Next fight, Jamie Malarkey versus Ferris. Jamie Malarkey, 12-3 record, 8 KO wins, 3 sub wins, 2 KO losses. He's 0-1 in the UFC. Lost by unanimous decision to Brad Riddell on his debut. Great cardio. This guy's tough as fuck, dude. He gets hit a lot. That's the only thing I don't like. Explains the toughness. He just gets hit way too much. Look at his cauliflower ear. That'll give you fucking an idea of how much he gets hit. I know a lot of people get cauliflower ear from grappling as well, but this guy gets hit a lot. If you watch his fucking if you watch his fights, he gets hit a lot. He'll take a few to give you one hard one. So put it like that. Jamie Malarkey's he's a tough motherfucker. He has pretty good boxing fundamentals, even though he does get hit a lot. Got good leg kicks. Got KO'd by Volkanovski back in 2016 because he overextends on his punches at times. He gets carried away. He just looks like he's just having too much fun in there. Just like kind of like Gaethje. But Gaethje fixed that, so maybe Malarkey has fixed it by now. I hope he has, because he's a decent fighter. And Ferris Yam, a.k.a. Smile Killer, 10-3 record, 5 KO wins, 4 sub wins, 2 sub losses. Lost to Don Madge by unanimous decision on his debut. 1-inch reach advantage. Both sub losses by rear naked choke. He likes to dirty box and get you in clinch situations against the cage and just kind of wear on you there. That's what he did with Don Madge. He still came up short. It was a really boring fight. If you go and rewatch that, there's no point of even rewatching it because nothing happened. Yeah, man. He just has a really low volume. He's a low volume striker. I'm rocking with Jamie Malarkey all the way. That's actually one of my more confident picks. He's going to be in my parlays. I'm also going to drop my parlays that I had from last weekend's fights. I think I was like 9 for 13 or 8 for 13. I can't remember, but yeah, I didn't do the greatest. I broke even. I didn't lose any money. I didn't win any money. So that's usually the case. I either break even or I win big. It's one or the other. It's rare that I actually lose all my cash just because the way I bet, it's kind of, I don't know. It's just like a strategic way of doing it. But, excuse me. Next fight, Jun Young Park versus John Phillips. Jun Young Park, the Iron Turtle. It's kind of a badass nickname. I like that. 11-4 record. 5 KO wins, 3 sub wins, 2 sub losses. He beat Marc-Andre Barriou in his last fight, which is not very impressive performance. I think Barriou's 1-3 in the UFC. He almost got cut. Yeah, but he won his last fight. Lost to Anthony Hernandez by anaconda choke before that. Decent kickboxing, pretty durable fighter, low volume striker, good elbows in clinch situations. Could definitely take Phillips down and work his BJJ on the ground. He could definitely work his ground and pound on him as well. John Phillips just has the worst takedown defense. I think he has like 10% takedown defense or 14% or some shit like that. It is 14%. That's what I wrote down over here. The Welsh Wrecking Machine, also known as the White Mike Tyson. I'm so glad they didn't let him keep that shit because he's banking off Tyson's name. I don't like that shit. You're nowhere near Tyson. There's no reason for you to use that nickname. Yeah, that's cool. You can knock people out, but I mean, there ain't really nothing special about that. You're nowhere near Tyson, so don't use that nickname. You already know I'm rocking with Jin Yun Park. I'm not even going to get into the John Phillips. I'm not really going to get into John Phillips shit because everybody knows he's a KO artist. 22-10 record, 20 KO wins, 2 sub wins, and 2 KO losses, 6 sub losses. So his weakness is on the ground. He's went 5 for 10 in his last fight. He's 1-4 in the UFC. So there's nothing impressive about this guy. He's very flat-footed. He looks for a power punch, and he tries to knock your fucking head off. Sometimes it works. Most of the times it doesn't because people are smart in the UFC, and they're going to take you down. They're not going to try and stand and bang with you. If they know you have more power than them, most smart fighters are going to take you down and dominate you on the ground, and Hamzat did that. There was no point of Hamzat trying to strike with this guy when he could just easily take him down. Then just dominate him. So that's, I don't know. This guy needs to work on some of his other attributes instead of just working on his boxing and kickboxing. I don't want to like talk down on the guy. He's in the UFC. That's an accomplishment. I'm not in the UFC. I'm not a fighter, so I can't talk too much shit. But at the same time, I don't feel like he should be in the UFC anymore. He's had his chance. Let somebody else take that spot because he's very one-dimensional. Get him in bare knuckle. Get him in bare knuckle, and I'll put some fucking money on John Phillips because he is He's a knockout artist. He'll knock people the fuck out in bare knuckle boxing. If he converts to bare knuckle boxing, dude, he's gonna be a beast. Plain and simple, he'll be a beast, but just not in the UFC. It's not his style. All right, next fight: Claudio Da Silva versus James Krause. Hannibal versus the James Krause. 14-1 record for Hannibal. 2 KO wins, 9 sub wins, 1 DQ loss. It was his first fight, his first pro fight. He's a very inactive fighter. Only fights about once a year. Sometimes not even that. Yeah, he beat Cole Williams by rear naked choke in his last fight. Wasn't very impressive. Has horrible cardio. 5 rear naked choke wins for this guy. 4 armbar wins. He's 38 years old. This might be his last fight. I feel like it should be his last fight. He's a really good submission specialist. I give him that, but it doesn't seem like he's ever progressed. It doesn't really seem like he really wants to be in the UFC anymore, because he's never taken really more than, I don't know, it just seems like he's only taken 1 fight each year. He's not an active fighter. People will forget you after a few months if you're not an active fighter, so, or if you're not getting spectacular finishes over spectacular fighters. And he hasn't really. Didn't look great in his last fight. Very low volume striker, like I've said. And he's going to look to get this fight to the ground. That's what he wants to do. So he's fighting James Krause, 27-8 record, 8 KO wins, 14 sub wins. Another fighter that has a shitload of submission wins. 1 KO loss and 2 sub losses. He lost by split decision in his last fight to Trevin Giles. Very close performance. He came in on like 5 or 6 days notice. James Krause is really good, man. People doubt this guy a lot. He's a cerebral fighter. He uses his fucking brain. He doesn't have a ton of cauliflower ear. He doesn't get hit a ton. He knows how to use his range. He's not a power striker, but he's pretty good at counter striking. And he's actually pretty good at, he's kind of good at both. He's good at counter striking, and he's good at walking some of his opponents down and using his range against them. And since he has really good cardio, most of his opponents gas out on him, and he can just pick them apart from the outside. So James Krause is a decent fighter. He's got good footwork, nice jabs and crosses. Has a 2.5-inch reach advantage in this one. Very slick on the ground as well. Explains his 14 submission wins. I'm rolling with James Krause on this one, putting him in a parlay. That might be a dangerous pick because Claudio Silva, if Claudio Silva can get him on the ground, which he probably will, but James Krause has pretty good submission defense. He's only been submitted twice. But if he can get him on the ground and get him in an uncomfortable position, Claudio Silva does have the capability to submit James Krause. But I'm banking on James Krause's cardio. I'm banking on him using his range. I'm putting him in a parlay. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my full parlay at the end of my main card predictions, because usually I do either a 10-person parlay, 11-person parlay. I do one of those each time, so you usually hit big. It's always one fighter that fucks it up. But I'm getting off topic. Next fight: Jillian Robertson versus Pauliana Botella. Jillian Robertson, aka the Savage, 8-4 record. 1 KO wins, 6 sub wins, 1 KO loss, 1 sub loss. Beat Courtney Casey by a rear naked choke. And last fight, lost by TKO to Macy Barber. It was pretty vicious loss. She just couldn't handle the pressure, the combos, the power. Macy Barber was just too much. Got her against the cage and fucked her up. Yeah, she couldn't handle it, but it's all good. She's a smart fighter. Always looks to time her takedowns and trips. Like, she's really good at timing them. 3 rear naked chokes, 2 armbar wins. Has been submitted by armbar once. Her cardio is through the roof. She doesn't really get tired that often. At least she has a really good poker face, because it doesn't seem like it. Striking has improved, especially since the fight with Macy Barber. She's an overall well-rounded fighter, but she's going to look to get the fight to the ground and try to submit you, take your back, and get a rear naked choke or an armbar or something to that aspect. Pauliana Botella, 8-2 record, 6 KO wins, 1 sub loss, coming off a unanimous decision win over Lauren Mueller. She got rear naked choked in round 1 by Cynthia Calvillo previously. Very scrappy fighter, 4-inch reach advantage, good footwork, nice leg kicks. Actually has really good takedown defense as well. She's broken her hand twice in her career. As what I've heard and what I've read and seen in videos, she's broken her hand twice. Maybe it's been more. It's not really a good sign. I don't like fighters that come in with too many injuries or have too many surgeries or anything like that, because it's kind of like when you pick Derek Lewis and his back starts bugging him in the corner. You start getting nervous. You're just like, fuck, man, I knew he had a back issue. I probably shouldn't have picked him, and then next thing you know, he comes out there and knocks the guy out in fucking the end of round fucking 5 or round 3 or some shit. So you just really never know. But I just feel like certain injuries, especially hand injuries, if you're a fighter, they're not good. It could play a factor, but at the same time, it might not mean anything. Her hand's probably fully healed. Very wide stance. She has a really wide stance, but I'm rolling with Jillian Robertson on this one. I feel like she just has more to offer on the ground, and she's gonna. It's kind of inevitable. She's gonna get the fight to the ground. Pauliana Botella has really good wrestling defense, but I just feel like Jillian Robertson is gonna be a smarter fighter in this one, and she'll get it to the ground. Next fight, Matus Gamra versus Guram Kutiladze. I don't even know, man. I'm kind of giving up on names right now. But yeah, man, this guy's making his debut. Gamra, 29 years old, 5'10", 17-0 record, 5 KO wins, 4 sub wins. Constant pressure with this guy. Nice check right hooks. Decent stand-up overall. Yeah, man. His bread and butter is his takedowns and his trips. He likes swarming his opponents with ground and pound. Looks for openings for submissions as well. Heavy top pressure. Has been the distance. Went the distance 8 out of 17 fights. Seems to have pretty good cardio. I really like to see that in fighters, especially debuters. I like to see that they can actually go the distance. I hate picking a debuter who has all first-round wins. At the same time, it's like cool to have all first-round wins, but at the same time, if you're fighting somebody that's really, really strategic and can make you go those full fucking 3 rounds and you can't put them away, you better have some good cardio. And a lot of these guys that come in, they're 8-0, 6-0, 10-0. A lot of them have first-round finishes, all first-round finishes, or an early second-round finish, and then you end up finding out later on, like, oh, shit, he doesn't have any cardio. He ends up losing his O. It's happened so many times where I picked fighters like that when they're debuting. But the good thing is, both these guys are debuting. This guy also has 2 heel hook wins, 1 key lock, and a guillotine choke. So he's pretty fucking, he's good with his submissions on the ground as well. But he's fighting Guram, 11-2 record, 7 KO wins, 1 sub loss, 1 submission win. Only submission loss was in 2015 by knee bar. He's on an 8-fight win streak, 5 are KOs, making his debut, like I've said. Nasty right head kicks. Right overhands are really vicious as well. Right knees in the clinch and situations are really vicious. His right front kicks are everything on his right side. I noticed he utilizes so much on his right side that it's worrisome. It doesn't seem like he uses too much. He doesn't have too many things on his left side. Like almost all his wins are to do with all right-sided movements. It's kind of weird. He has good left check left hooks. That's what I've seen so far. Good left leg kicks, but everything else, it just seems like he focuses a lot on the right side. I'm rolling with Gamrot to get the win on this one. I feel like he'll get it. I think cardio could end up being an issue with Guram as well. A lot of power in his strikes, but something's telling me he might gas, and something's telling me Gamrot's gonna keep that O the way it is. So, yeah, man, those are my prelim predictions. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, enjoy the fights this coming up weekend, and see you guys in the next video.